Welcome to the call, everyone. My name is Mark Hamlin, and man, the information I want to share with you is very insightful. We've been working online with crypto full time for about 15 years. Now, it's been extremely profitable, but it also has been an education. And and if you learn from the past, then of course your future can be a whole lot better. And we've learned a ton of things, and we're constantly learning because technology is changing and evolving so fast that you absolutely want to be ahead of the learning curve. So we're going to share with you some of the latest information that we have learned and strategies that you can use to absolutely make 2026 your best year ever. All right. So with that said, I'm going to talk with you about a winning strategy when it comes to cryptocurrency, ladies and gentlemen. Most people only make money in crypto when the price goes up. But the insiders have figured out how to compound their crypto. We're going to talk about that with you today. So they get paid whether the price is up, is down, or sideways. That's when the game shift begins, ladies and gentlemen. When you go from price watching to asset accumulation. Now, we're going to break this down for make sure that you understand it. And then on top of that, we're going to talk with you about something known as DePIN, which is the infrastructure of crypto, which is part of Web3, where you have the opportunity to be an owner in the evolvements, the evolution of the internet. And we're going to talk about a Pacific phone that is built for crypto that provides the highest level of security and a ton of other features and benefits. We're going to talk about that as well. So with that said, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so I want to talk with you about a winning strategy when it comes to cryptocurrency that most people are not aware of. And they're going about things in such a way where they're not able to benefit. So they're missing out, is what I'm saying. So we're going to talk about compounding versus price action. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we want to go from speculation to accumulation. You have to understand the institutions that are dominating this space and that dominates the financial space. They look at finances in a totally different way, and you and I want to do the same. So how do most people experience crypto, ladies and gentlemen? Let's talk about it. So they are constantly watching the price. When the price goes up, you win. But when the price goes down, you lose. And people constantly watching the value of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And when the price is down, they are all depressed because they feel as though that they have lost money. Right. And we know the crypto market is extremely volatile. It could be up 20% today and down 30% tomorrow. So, but here's the real problem. The price is external. What does that mean? We have no control over the price. And it is driven by emotion because the average person, when they see that price drop, they sell, right? When they see the price go high, they try to buy, right? And it's completely out of our control. That's the real problem. But here's the breakthrough question, ladies and gentlemen. What if you didn't need price to cooperate with you in order for you to win? This is what we're talking about. It's a totally different way of looking at things. Now, there are two ways that you can win in crypto: speculation versus price, or accumulation versus quantity. Let's talk about that. It's all about the math. You have to understand that compounding is more important than price. Compounding is more profitable than price action. The price going up and down. What can you do to ensure that you come out on top? Let's get into it. When crypto compounds, accumulation wins over time. These are facts. It's all about the math. Let me give you a simple example. So you have a flat price, but you have a growing balance. Let me ask you a question. Which would you rather have? A flat price or a balance that's growing? So here's the emotional shift, which is very important. Volatility becomes noise. When you see that price going up and down, the worst thing you can do is watch it and stare at it because it's going to take you through an emotional roller coaster. Why? Because you have no control over that. But accumulation becomes focus. You have to put your attention on the thing that really matters, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not the price. So this is where staking comes in. So you might say, well, Mark, what is staking? I don't even know what that is. Well, we're going to show you what that is. See, participation in staking enables compounding. I want you to understand the wealth mindset of institutions and very wealthy people. Institutions are accumulating cryptocurrency. We're all familiar with MicroStrategies. Every time you turn around, they keep buying more and more Bitcoin. And it doesn't matter whether the price goes up or the price goes down. They just keep on buying it, right? While the average person is freaking out, they keep buying. Why? See, the retail speculators, that's the average people like you and I. We speculate and we try to catch the high or catch the bottom or whatever. We're constantly speculating, but you need to understand the institutions aren't doing that. They are accumulating. And in that, it tells us what you and I ought to consider doing. The transition is from watching the price to owning the system. That's what I want to talk with you about today. So I'm going to introduce you to an innovative protocol called WebKey. And this is all about owning your data, owning your assets, and taking advantage of the power of compounding, ladies and gentlemen. This protocol is designed for accumulation. It's built for compounding and is focused on long-term growth. If you're looking for a situation where you can grow your wealth long-term, ladies and gentlemen, and you have access to your money at all times, in other words, it's not locked down and it's constantly compounding, all right? It is real, it is decentralized, it is verified, ladies and gentlemen, you're in the right place. There's nobody in the background who can turn it off or decide that they just don't want to pay you because it's all facilitated by the latest technology, which is called a smart contract, which is computer code. We're all familiar with the fact that AI is changing the world rapidly. Well, just as AI is changing certain things in the world, you need to understand that finance is evolving also because of technology. That technology is called a smart contract and DeFi, decentralized finance, where you take the middleman out of the equation. All right, let's get into it. Now, the earnings, the income examples or results discussed or displayed in this presentation are not necessarily representative of income, if any, that a WebKey participant can or will earn through participation in any compensation, affiliate, or incentive program. These figures are provided for illustrative purposes only and should not be considered guarantees, projections, or promises of actual earnings or profits. Any representations or implications of guaranteed income would be misleading. Success with WebKey DAO and related opportunities is a result of successful sales and marketing efforts, which require hard work, consistency, diligence, and leadership. Individual results will vary and depend on each participant's skills, experience, efforts, market conditions, and ability to execute. Participation in staking, token utilization, or other blockchain-based activities involves risk. Any monies used for staking or similar activities are done at the individual's own risk. Participants should only use funds that they can afford to lose. WebKey DAO does not provide financial, investment, or legal advice. You are solely responsible for conducting your own due diligence and consulting with a qualified financial or legal professional before making any financial decisions. We're required by law to read that to you. So now, this is all possible because an innovative foundation called the Newbie Foundation. They're based out of Canada, but they are an institution dedicated to investing in Web3 ecosystems, particularly focused on advancing the DePIN track, which is the infrastructure behind Web3. It is committed to discovering, investing in, and empowering promising blockchain entrepreneurs, startup projects, and communities, and providing the necessary financial support to foster the development of a broader blockchain ecosystem. Now, several of us on this call, we were fortunate to go to LA to meet with the foundation. This was last weekend. It was very, very informative. But the thing I want you to understand about this foundation, they are a $12 billion foundation with a lot of success. I want you to see here, many of us are involved in a prior project that's been running successfully for 5 years and is still running. It is called Origin, but that project has been life-changing, ladies and gentlemen. It has almost 2 million wallets connected to it, and it is absolutely changing lives. And the thing I want you to understand is that this foundation is all about advancing. It's all about going to the next level, which brings us to where we are right now, the project called WebKey that I want to explain to you. Let's get into it. So, by the way, the Newbie Foundation is all about working on AI-based mobile phone platforms, decentralized finance, decentralized games, Web3 phones, which we're going to talk about toward the end here, and also other decentralized projects. Now, the thing you need to understand is that everything we're about to share with you is absolutely real and verified by top-level third-party resources. Even the finances in this smart contract have been audited with a fine-tooth comb by a company called armors. And the smart contract itself has been audited by a company called Certec. These are the leaders in the field. So you can rest assured and sleep at night. I want to talk about compounding. So bear with me one second because I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to go live on the internet right now. So you understand how compounding works. You understand you want to have patience, you want to have discipline, and you want to leverage time. Compounding works best when you allow time to be time. The longer you compound, the more powerful your gain is going to be. So right now, we're live on the internet. All right, so we're in Dex Tools right now, and you can see the website, dextools.io. This is a decentralized exchange where you can see a lot of the details of a specific project. So this is WebKey. It is live on the internet. The current value is $6.66. The value of the coin is going to fluctuate based on people buying and selling. But I want you to see here that the liquidity is 3.2 million. The market cap is $17 million. I want you to see the number of wallets connected to this protocol is over 1.1 million individuals from all around the world. I also want you to see that this protocol was launched on November the 7th, 2024. So it's been operating for over a year, and it is rock solid. Now, what I'm going to do is go right into the smart contract right now. And we're going to take a look at some numbers because, as I mentioned, it's all about the math, ladies and gentlemen. So when you look at this specific account right here, this account has staked 215 WebKey DAO. So when you stake, you become a liquidity provider for a protocol. And when people buy and sell the coin, they pay fees. A fee to buy and a fee to sell. But because you staked and put up the liquidity, it makes it easier for them to be able to buy and sell the coin. And you get a percentage of the fees. That's where the money comes from. This is not trading. This is called LP, or being a liquidity provider. This is where you and I become the bank. Now, let me simplify it just to help you understand. So all of us, most of us, we have bank accounts and we deposit money in the bank. We know that the bank is going to use that money to loan out mortgages to other people, car loans, credit cards, business loans. We know the bank even trades on the stock market, right? But here's the thing. They don't share those profits with us. In fact, what they give us is very little because we're customers of the bank. Well, suppose we could become a partner of the bank and they shared a percentage of the profits that they made with us because we put up some of the money. That's the difference. In this decentralized model, we become partners of the protocol. And because everything is facilitated by the smart contract, it must do what it's programmed to do. Nobody can change it. It is long-term, it is real, it is lasting. One of the things that makes this platform so unique is that your funds are not locked down. When you first deposit and you open up that account, you have a little short period of just a couple of hours where you can't touch it because you're onboarding. But after that, you have access to all your money within seconds. You can withdraw it. It'll be in your wallet in seconds. Facts. All right. So let's take a look at this account. So we know that the current value of the coin, if we come here and go to dashboard, we can notice the current value of the coin is $6.73. Now, this specific account has 215 WebKey DAO coins staked right now. If you put your cursor over this little eye right here, click on it, you can see the current value. It's $1,447. All right. So let's do this. And what I'm going to do, we're going to do a little bit of math. So if you got a calculator nearby, that's going to be very important because we're talking about the power of compound interest, the eighth wonder of the world. So I'm just going to estimate this at 1450. Okay. So now let's just scroll down here and we're going to take a look at a few things. First of all, I want you to see the annual percentage yield, ladies and gentlemen. It's over 1,100%. What does that mean? You have the potential to compound your money and double it 11 times within 1 year. That's what that means. What about your bank account? How much do they pay you? All right, as a customer of the bank. But we're talking about being a LP provider, right? So I want you to see a couple of things. First thing I want you to see is that the net yield, ladies and gentlemen, is 0.0524. And the 5-day rate is 3.5572. But here's what I want you to understand. The power here is how many times your money compounds in a daily basis. And I want you to see it right here. And Doc, can you see that? How many times does your money compound here? Right?
Hold on. It compounds 13 times a day. Woo.
13 times a day. And what you have to understand, that creates velocity. And that's what you and I want in our money, right? velocity. So we've all heard of, money compounding one time a day, maybe even two times a day, but not 13 times a day, ladies and gentlemen. This is life-changing, and you have access to your money at all times. So we know that this account has staked about $1,450. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy the amount of coins that are staked here, and right inside of the site, there is a calculator. So we're going to come right down to the calculator, and we're going to enter the amount that's staked. And we said 1450, $1,450. All right. So let's just do this. Here's the current rate, and it's compounding at this rate 13 times a day. So that $1,450, ladies and gentlemen, in 1 year, with the power of compounding, you let that money turn over, that's over $18,000 in 1 year from $1,400. All right. But let's do this. Suppose you have the patience and the discipline to allow this to compound for 2 years. What could that $1,400 potentially do for you and your family? It's $237,000. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to log in. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to build a team, and you have access to your money 24/7. All you do is click the button. It'll be in your wallet within seconds. Can you see the potential here? All right, let's do another example. Let's do some real money. What about $10,000? So I got to pull out my calculator myself, and I'm going to take $10,000, and I want to see how many coins we'll be able to stake with $10,000. So we know the current value of the coin. I go to the dashboard here. It's 673. So I'm going to take 10,000, going to divide it by 6.73. That is 1,485 tokens, right? So let's go back to the calculator, and we're going to put 1,485 here. I'm going to go back to 1 year, 1,485. Compounded for 1 year, compounding 13 times a day at this rate, that's over $127,000. Maybe pay off the current house that you're in, send your child to a great college, improve the situation. All right. So you can see the power here. This is what we wanted you to understand, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the thing. The person who invited you here can answer any additional questions that you have, and they will take the time to walk you through the process to show you how to get started here. It's all about diversification. The more sources of income that you can have coming in on a regular basis, the better for you and your family. I think everyone would agree with that. What's unique about this platform? You've got access to your money at all times. You don't have to talk to anyone. It compounds automatically, ladies and gentlemen. The project is long-term, it is proven, and it is verifiable. It's one of the best things that I have seen since I've been working on online for years. Now, I'm going to go a little further here. I'm going to stop sharing, go back to the PowerPoint. And before I end, I'm going to have a couple of leaders share a few thoughts with everybody. But let me get back to my PowerPoint. And so now we need to get to the phone. One of the things you have to understand about Web3, it is the evolution of the internet. It started with Web 1.0, where they had websites, but there was no interaction. Then it went to Web 2.0, where you could actually write and you could read, you could comment. That's social media and things like that. But now we're going into Web 3.0. Web 3.0 is where you and I can be owners of the internet, all right, or parts of the internet. This is what I want to talk with you about. This is where the phone comes in. This is called DePIN, decentralizing the world's infrastructure with blockchain. All right. See, DePIN is a Web3 model where real world infrastructure is built, owned, and operated by distributed participants like you and I, rather than centralized corporations, using blockchain, tokens, and smart contracts to coordinate incentives. So what does this mean exactly? Instead of a single company, ladies and gentlemen, owning the towers, the sensors, the servers, and the energy grid, people like you and I, we can deploy the hardware. We're talking about nodes, hotspots, sensors, GPUs, storage, and guess what? Cell phones. The cell phones that we carry with us 24 hours a day, even when we go to bed, we keep it within arm's distance. All right? Now, the blockchain tracks the usage, the performance, and the ownership. Participants earn tokens, providing real-world services, and the network scales faster and cheaper than centralized models. So just think about Airbnb, Uber, cloud storage, and the energy grid. Imagine if you and I could be part of the infrastructure when it was launched. Can you only imagine where we would be? Absolutely. That's what we're talking about right now. Now, I want to introduce you to the WebKey phone. It is so phenomenal because the adoption of Web3 is going to start with the phone. people having control over their data, ownership of their data, and people being able, ladies and gentlemen, to silently earn money in the background because of the nodes that are associated with the phone. All right. But it's more to it than that. That's just the beginning. So, first of all, in order for a person to participate in this platform, and if they want to stake, the minimum is $100 in USDT. All right. And you need to set up a wallet, a Web3 wallet, like a MetaMask, Token Pocket, a Trust wallet. And the person who invited you here can show you how to do that. Now, the phone, you don't have to participate in the staking to get the phone. You might just want a crypto phone, ladies and gentlemen. The phone is $6.99 one time, and you pay for it also with crypto USDT BEP20. But the phone is equipped with several different things. First of all, it has all 9 blockchains built in it: Ethereum, Binance, Solana, Polygon, Avalanche, and more. You also have access to a ton of dApps. They're already uploaded in the phone for social gaming, entertainment, payments, education, and more. There is a 2-level reward program. Once you're in the program, if you refer someone else who wants to purchase the phone, you make a 10% instant reward on your first level, 5% on your second level. The phone has a built-in cold wallet, ladies and gentlemen. It has military grade encryption to protect your cryptocurrency. In addition to that, it's equipped with its own artificial intelligence, which works as a secretary, very similar to Siri on the iPhone. And because you have that phone, it opens you up for additional income that can be earned through token mining while you sleep. And of course, you can use the phone to access the airwaves through Wi-Fi, like at your home. And you can also get an eSIM card if you want to use it as a phone or you want to surf the internet. And we'll train you and give you more information on that. Here is the phone. It's called the Cooper 3. It is phenomenal. It takes about 30 days to get it. A lot of us, we have ours. We were able to pick them up in Los Angeles when the foundation was in town, but most people are going to order it online. It will take about 30 days in order for you to get it. Well, listen, that concludes our overview. I want to bring Doc on just to share a few thoughts with everyone. Doc, are you there, sir?
First of all, Mark, excellent presentation. One of the things that I'm excited about this opportunity is we have your servant leadership where you constantly are thinking behind the scenes to make this more comprehensible to the average person. And the irony is, I was just sharing it with one of our team members who just put in 5 figures a few minutes ago, and she had that money sitting in crypto watching the price go up and down. So we started converting some of that money over so that we can move it over into the new model. And just between, we took a break because it takes a minute to do that from the various coins that she had sitting there watching it go up and down. And just overnight, the price dropped. And so it rung for her that what I shared with her on yesterday, why when you can have the fluctuation of price and you're stressed out, like Mark is talking about, watching it go up and down, the thing that you're most importantly are losing is time and opportunity. When you have a compounding component to it with a token that's native to that platform, that's not going to be so much influenced by the fluctuations of the general centralized market. So where it's more stable, and even with the small fluctuations, when you're getting an asset that is compounding with the WebKey opportunity 13 times a day, it's head and shoulders above anything you can do with what most people are focusing on, which is the Bitcoin, the XRP, and other coins like that. Now, when you can compound and start to gain that asset, you can always go back and buy those coins if you have some type of emotional attachment to it. But it's not about our emotions. It's about the numbers, like Mark said at the beginning of his presentation. So the exciting thing for us to be in front of an opportunity that has this type of track record of success with the Newbie Foundation, and most of us are currently experiencing with the Origin platform, this is a no-brainer. So it's an easier sell or an easier presentation to someone who's just watching, stressed out, their portfolio go up and down. We just saw just a couple of weeks ago, Bitcoin was at 150,000, which was a record high. Now it's somewhere around 90. It's not even on 100. So you got to wait for that to come in. If you got in at 150,000, you have to wait for it to get right back up to that amount or sell at a loss. We don't have to worry about that, number one, with the compounding. And number two, with the renewed understanding that if you are patient and you're not looking for the get rich thing that draws everybody in and then pulls the rug from up under them, with platforms like what we're experiencing with the Newbie Foundation, with the Origin opportunity, and currently now with the WebKey, man, it's a no-brainer. And what we've been able to see people who have done it over a year in over in South Korea and some of the other Asian markets, man, listen, This is an opportunity that you do not want to sleep on. You want to get in front of as many people, giving them first rights of refusal as quick as you possibly can. Because let me tell you something, if you don't do that, there's going to be people out there that's going to grab your people, because it is starting to gain some tremendous momentum, some tremendous momentum. So, Mark, I want to thank you for putting this together and sharing this. And I want to impress upon everyone who is on this call. If you have not gotten in position, you want to get in position. And if you got in position and you started out with a small amount just to kick test the waters and to kick the tires, then you're missing a huge opportunity if you have more sitting in crypto or money sitting that's not working for you, to not put that to work for you while we're at 1100% APY with the new addition of, instead of it compounding for 8 times a day to 13 times a day. It's just simple math. So I'm excited, and I'm not a hype person at all, but I'm starting to get hyped up, because what we're able to do with this in such a short period of time, and if we understand that the focus is on compounding instead of watching the fluctuations of the value of the coin, which I think is a psych out for a lot of people, then we have something on our hands if we understand it from those perspectives that have been presented in this presentation on this afternoon. So, Mark, we want to thank you. Appreciate what you're doing, and I'll give it right back to you.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, Doc. Really, really appreciate your leadership, your insights. You've got a very unique way of looking at things and evaluating things, and that is a gift. We really appreciate you.